The full Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury undercard has been unveiled. It's a split venue site, so you're gonna have two different cards, as I already reported weeks ago. That Adonis Stevenson and Alexander Gvozdyk, sorry if I butchered his name, will be fighting in Canada on regular Showtime, and that undercard is going to feature a televised portion of it is going to be Alfredo Angulo taking on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is one part of it. That's going to kick off, I think, about 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time up in Canada. It's going to be a 10-rounder super middleweight class, 168 pounds. We know Angulo for having great fights with James Kirkland, a great fight with Erislandy Lara. He got dominated by Canelo. Chavez Jr., I think the last time we seen him was versus Canelo. He got dominated at a catchweight at 164.5, I believe it was. And that's going to be in Quebec, Canada, on the Stevenson and what's his name? Gvozdyk card, excuse me. On Alexander Gvozdyk card, excuse me. So that's going to be two fights that's going to be on there as well. Also, they will have a live countdown beginning 6:45 Eastern Standard Time on Showtime and Showtime Sports YouTube channel and Facebook page. Preceding Wilder and Fury pay-per-view events begins 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the Wilder and Fury card. So, you know, the thing about the Chavez Jr. Fight that's so important is that he turned the opportunity to fight on the zone versus Sergio Martinez next Saturday. That was actually supposed to be in Texas, the card that Big Baby Miller and Clarissa Shields are fighting on. But Chavez Jr. rolled with Al Heyman and fought Angulo in Canada. I think that's going to be in Canada. And Al Heyman must have offered him more money to be on the undercard to a regular Showtime event than Eddie Hearn was offering to be the main event versus Chavez Jr. in Texas. Or, you know, maybe it's just the loyalty to Al Heyman Chavez Jr. got. But, you know, in addition to that, it's some other things that's happening as well. The televised portion of the card is going to have, you know, Joe Joyce is opening it up versus Joe Hanks. Luis Ortiz is fighting Travis Kaufman. And Jared Hurd is going to be the co-feature, it looks like, versus Jason Wellborn. Very, very underwhelming undercard. But the positive about the undercard, before we talk about those particular fights, is that Blue Blood Sports made a great point saying that if, you know, Wilder had that packed undercard that was rumored, like Russell versus Santa Cruz, Mares versus Gervonta Tank Davis and Earl Spence and Mikey, and all these rumored undercards that they had on there, that it was going to diminish the fact that if Deontay Wilder did good pay-per-view numbers, it was going to diminish the fact that it wasn't him and Fury that sold the fight. It was a great undercard. Now, Bob Arum always says, and he lives by this, and you can see it in his events, nobody cares about the undercard. Just people comes to pay to see the main event. So, you know, Joe Hanks taking on Joe Joyce. You know, I don't understand why Joe Joyce, is on this card. To be honest, Joe Hanks is about to be 36 years old next March. He's from New Jersey, 6'4" heavyweight. I don't get it. You know, I guess they want to showcase some of the PBC heavyweights on this. He's 23-2, got knocked out one time. Like I say, he's 35 years old, be 36 next March. He lost to Derek Rossi in majority decision. He got TKO'd by Andy Ruiz. He fought twice this year, fought once last year, and before last year, he took 3 years off. So, quite frankly, it's just, it's just a showcase card. This undercard is a total showcase card, and Joe Joyce is getting introduced to the American public. And I understand why they're giving Joe Joyce the red carpet treatment, because he is the plug, or he's the spearhead behind Al Heyman's ITV deal to put on fights in the UK now. So they want to push him. They want to treat him like royalty. He's the driving force to stick it to Eddie Hearn and blow up in the UK market. If you haven't heard about Al Heyman's ITV deal, I did a video yesterday. Check it out. Then we have Luis Ortiz taking on Travis Kaufman. Now, Travis Kaufman is a guy that a lot of people in Pennsylvania, he's from Pennsylvania area. A lot of people tend to like him. Me personally, I haven't seen a lot of him. I just know he consistently comes up short. He had another fight coming up versus Antonio Tarver, but I believe Antonio Tarver failed another drug test. He is from Reading, PA, Pennsylvania. He's 33 years old, just turned 33, 6'3". He has 35 total fights. Like I said, he's 32-0, two losses, 1 knockout, 23 knockouts. He's lost a majority of decisions to Amir Mansour, who just went over to Europe and got KO'd. He had a no decision versus Chris Arreola. And basically, that's his claim to fame. He also has an earlier loss to Tony Grano, KO loss. So at the end of the day, he hasn't fought, great competition. But when he's stepped up in competitions, he's lost to Amir Mansour. But I'm pretty sure this is his last shot if he doesn't beat Luis Ortiz, which I don't expect this fight to go long. I expect him to, retire. I think he's at the point that he's going to retire. I really think it's like a 2% chance or 1% chance or 0.5% chance that he can upset Luis Ortiz. This is, like I said, neither one of these two fights are fights that the fans care to see about. So if you plan on going to this fight, I just say just show up to the main event. And after I talk about this next fight, and I want to address the concern that I had about the Canelo, that came up about the Canelo and Triple G rematch. But Jared Hurd is facing Jason Wellborn. Don't know too much about Jason Wellborn. He's from the UK, but the reason Hurd is facing Jason Wellborn, is because he had shoulder surgery. He showed off the little issue with his shoulder, and he wants to test his shoulder out. Also, him and his coach said they wanted to do two right-handers since they fought a few southpaws in a row. I think Tony Harrison was a southpaw. Austin Trout was a southpaw. Arizona Lara was a southpaw. But he's an orthodox fighter, so I never really heard of that. Anybody use that term. But Jason Wellborn is from the UK, West Midlands. He's 24, 7 knockouts, 6 losses, been KO'd, been knocked out 3 times. His KO losses come to Craig Cunningham. Well, he lost to Craig Cunningham on points. 2 years ago was his last loss. He lost to William Burton on points. He lost the unanimous decision to Matthew Macklin 3 years ago on points. He got KO'd by Liam Smith, who just fought Jaime Munguia. He got TKO'd by Frankie Gavin back in 2013. He lost his second fight versus Tyen Booth by KO. So, like I said, glorified mismatch, straight bum bashes up and down this card. I'd rather see, Jared Hurd fight Julian J. Rock, but I understand that's a tough fight coming off of shoulder surgery. I'd rather see Joyce and Luis Ortiz fight each other and not even have a televised portion of the undercard. I'd rather them honestly just go Adonis Stevenson, Joyce versus Luis Ortiz, and straight to the Wilder undercard, a Wilder fight, straight up. That should just be the undercard. They wasting our time with the rest of these fights. The undercard is a joke. We know solely we paying just to see Fury and Wilder. Like I say, man, I keep it real, man. I think it's a travesty for them to even, feed this to the LA public, feed this to a pay-per-view public. But obviously all 3 fights are expected to end in KO, so maybe they want to sell KOs. So they go on KOs for life to keep Thurman theme. But one of the concerns that I do have about this undercard is that the undercard the problem I had with Triple G and Canelo, the rematch, was that, in between fights, we had a long time in between fights. We had a long time in between the main event and the co-main event with Jaime Munguia stopping Brandon Cook. So I wonder, will PBC do what they do for some of their regular network television fights and have swing bouts? They need to have swing bouts on deck for this fight, or are they willing to push up the main event time? Because if this card kicks off at 6 p.m. Pacific time, I think honestly, by 8 o'clock at the latest, 8 o'clock at Pacific time at the latest, this undercard should be done, and we should be getting to the main event. But they're gonna swing this out to about 9 o'clock. Then they're gonna enter the ring about 8:30, 9 o'clock. The fight will start around then. That's 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. When in actuality, this fight card can really start at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, if they got everything on deck, speed it up, clean the ring up, and do what they got to do, get the next fighters in. You know, nobody want to be hanging around 12 p.m., 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time waiting for this fight to happen. You know, by the time you get to 11 p.m., people done worked all week. They tired. They grinded all week. They probably going to be asleep and miss the main event. You know, they didn't party, they didn't drunk, and you waiting an hour or hour 30 minutes or 30 minutes between fights and between the main event and the co-main event, and you're not entertained. You know, most people going to go to sleep and miss the main event and just watch it on DVR. So hopefully they got that problem solved. Hopefully they got some attractions or they got a lot of interviews built up, because this can be a very, very quick card. I mean, Joyce can KO Kaufman like that. Joyce can KO Joe Hanks like that. Luis Ortiz can KO Kaufman like that. And Jared Hurd should be able to KO Wellborn like that. So at the end of the day, they better have a lot of interviews lined up. They better have a lot of visuals lined up. They better have some entertainment. They better have David Copperfield come do some magic tricks, or some stuntmen come in and flip over the ring. They better have Nipsey Hussle in there talking about last time that I checked. And they better have some concerts. They better have some entertainment. They better have some real entertainment up in there. You know, they better get to the Universal Soul Circus for all the brothers that know what I'm talking about, man. They better have some entertainment, man, because ain't nobody gonna sit through that card. And then if the main event don't deliver on top of that, it's gonna be dreadful. It's gonna get dreadful reviews, and that's gonna have an effect on the Broner Pacquiao card and the Manny Pacquiao, in the Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia pay-per-view card. So this card is huge for the sport of boxing, and hopefully they don't drop the ball on it. I'll link the article and also the total undercard. Goodfellas Sports TV. Don't forget the name. Share the videos on social media. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell icon. Miss another video. We can go live really, really soon. Don't forget, we on Facebook and Twitter. We have a Facebook group, a Facebook like page. All those links in the descriptions. You could DM me questions, concerns, whatever business opportunities you need. You got questions, whatever, regardless how to start a channel or what apps I use. You can email me those as well. Salute. Also, if you want to make a donation to the channel, that link's in the description as well. Hardest working channel on YouTube, at least boxing and sports channel. Wow, in my James Brown voice. Get up off that thing. Y'all know y'all can do better. Y'all know what it is. We gone.